Most times people know exactly what they're doing. You don't need to have a conversation with them. You should. I always recommend this as a life coach, but you don't need to because people know when they're not treating you in the way that you deserve to be treated or in the way that you want to be treated. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Bodiless, the podcast. So if you notice, I am sitting outside today. And that's if you're watching on YouTube. If you are listening on the podcast channel, then you'll probably hear like birds chirping in the background, maybe some other type of noises that indicates I'm outside. So just bear with me. But I really just felt like sitting in the element and said, hey, why not go ahead and get this recording done at the same time, since, it's something that I have to do. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Nicole Austin. I am a life coach. And on this channel, we speak about betterment, especially personal betterment in your love life, anything that can take you to the next level mentally or emotionally. Now, the topic that we're on today is a little bit different from what I actually scheduled and planned to speak about. So it's Easter Sunday when I'm recording this, and I went to church with my mom. Now, I am not a religious person, okay? I believe in God very deeply, but I don't feel like you have to be associated with any religion to have an affiliation and a connection and a love and a bond with God, right? But, she's a Christian. She wanted me to go to church with her, so I did. And the pastor talked about something today, and I felt like this would be an excellent topic of discussion. And let's get into that. Okay, so maybe you're wondering, what exactly is this topic? And it's basically something that we talk about a lot. I think I've even talked about on here, but it's so funny that, hearing a pastor talk about it. And it's being very, very mindful of who we are letting into our lives, right? What we are ignoring, what we are going back to, the partners we're choosing, the friendships that we are choosing, the business relationships that we are choosing, why we're not using our discernment, why we are not using our good senses to help us, stay away from things that are not benefiting us. And I really, really love that topic. And I think it's very, very crucial and something that sometimes you may have to speak on multiple times. So we all know what this is about, right? We all know the tea. We all know what type of time this is. You have a guy, you have a girl, you have a friend, you have a family member who has shown you over and over again, time and time again, that they are not good for you, that they are not going to do anything that is beneficial to you, anything that is going to be helpful towards your growth. And really, sometimes they're just malicious, vindictive, and all that other type of stuff. And for some reason, whether it be based on the amount of time that you've known them, whether it be based on the fact that maybe you're just a really loyal person, whether if it's a love situation and maybe you feel like you can't find anyone else, or you don't want to go back through the process of finding someone else, so you kind of settle in that situation because you do not, again, whatever variable it is, you don't want to have to face that variable. But at the same time, we have to understand that while yes, all of those things have some form of validity to them, right? Why you may want to hold on to this person in the long run, how beneficial are they really to you? A question you may be asking is, how do you identify when someone is just not a benefit to you? And the easiest way for me to answer that is, how does that person make you feel? How do their actions or lack thereof make you feel? How do their words or their energy towards you make you feel? Now, if you are coming from a place where you are not thinking through trauma, and what I call traumatic thinking essentially is when you analyze situations or you make assessments or decisions on situation based on previous traumas, as opposed to based on what's happening in the situation. So you really want to analyze and ensure that you are not making traumatic decisions, or you're not thinking traumatically, which all of us have some level of trauma. But for example, to break that down, if every relationship you've been in, your partner has cheated on you, and now your new partner has not shown any signs of being unfaithful, but yet you're continuously accusing them of cheating. The reason for that is traumatic thinking, because you have been conditioned to be treated on. You have been consistently cheated on. So now, even when your partner is not showing signs of cheating, you think that they are, they have someone else, they have a side person. So we're not talking about that. That's something completely different. We're speaking that the person that you're dealing with, and this could be platonic or non-platonic, any kind of relationship, but the people that you are dealing with, right, is showing you, even though especially if you're putting, forth effort into the relationship, but these people are showing you that they are not beneficial parts of your connection. So you're giving 80% and they're giving 10. You're giving 100% and they're giving 20. It's not an equal give and take, right? So that's more so what I'm talking about. So how does that make you feel? How does what they do, how does what they say make you feel? That is how you can easily analyze. Is this someone that you want to be part of your life? Is this someone that is beneficial or adding anything to your life, especially if you know that you're adding to theirs? So once you have identified if a person, should be part of your life or is a good part or a beneficial part of your life, the next thing is to analyze, how do you leave? How do you create that separation? Or it may not always necessarily be to disconnect, because sometimes I want to throw this out there. I know it's like a devil's advocate kind of thing, but people only do what you allow. People will treat you, even the best of people will treat you how you allow them to treat you. I remember I was dating this guy once. Phenomenal guy. Okay, excellent guy. And I'm very hyper independent. And I'm learning now to kind of tone that down, especially, when having people in your life who want to be part of your life, right? But I'm very hyper independent. And I was dating this guy and he wanted to do things for me. And he didn't want to take my life over. He just wanted to help me. He wanted to assist, with day-to-day stuff, which is commendable. That's what you should want a partner to do, right? And I did not know how to let him do that. I had no idea how to just kind of like chill a little bit and let him in, let him help, let him be a life mate, or let him show that he can be a life mate. And because of that, it caused a rift. And in that situation, I was not trying to push him away, which is kind of what ended up happening. I was just so stuck in a way of just doing everything for myself. I could not let this man assist. And this was some time ago. And again, I've learned how to become better, but that's just an example. So, some people just are the way that they are because of life experiences. Maybe they're still living in their traumas, but it's not a direct, reflection of how they feel about you. So I always recommend having a conversation with someone. Okay. So before we say, okay, no, you're not treating me right, I'm just going to leave. Now, most times let me throw this out there too, before we continue. Most times people know exactly what they're doing. You don't need to have a conversation with them. You should. I always recommend this as a life coach, but you don't need to, because people know when they're not treating you in the way that you deserve to be treated or in the way that you want to be treated. But I recommend having one conversation. So when you see that someone has made a pattern, not when it's occurred one time, maybe one time you say something to them, nicely, it doesn't have to be a conversation. Hey, I didn't like when you said you're going to call me back and I never heard from you that night or something like that. But the second time, it's a conversation. Listen, my expectation is that if you say you're going to call me back, that you call me back. If you cannot call me back, a simple text message saying that, X, Y, and Z happened, you can't call me back, would have sufficed, or whatever your, boundaries are. I'm just throwing something out there. You sit down, you lay the ground rules basically, and then you watch. If that person changes their behavior, a lot of times in a situation, it's just either they were used to you allowing certain things and they didn't know. Because some people are genuinely ignorant. This many, a small group, but some people are genuinely ignorant. And so they change up. But for the rest, you sit back, you watch, and the behavior doesn't change after you have that conversation, after you lay ground rules. And I hate saying laying ground rules for adults, but you know what I mean? You set your boundaries, you set your expectations, and nothing changes. Okay, so now it's your exit strategy. Now it's your exit plan, because this person has shown that they do not respect your needs. They do not respect your wants. They do not respect your desires, especially, and I will stress the especially from now to the end of time, if you are doing it for them. Now, if you're not doing it for them either, like, you got to suck it up, Chuck, right? Because why would they give you anything if there's no level of reciprocation? Because relationships should not be transactional. And again, this is platonic relationships or non-platonic relationships. They should not be transactional, but they should definitely be a certain level of give and take. There should absolutely be the expectation that if I'm going to be doing X for you, that you should be doing Y for me, because why be in a connection with anyone? You can just be by yourself all the time, right? So again, once we have identified what the issue is, once we have identified that this person is not going to respect the boundaries that you set or respect the desires that you have for your connection with other people, it is, okay, well, what are you going to do with this person? And then I recommend putting them in categories, putting them in boats. A lot of people, you're just going to have to eliminate completely. You know what? You're great. You're wonderful. You're not great. You're not wonderful. But this is just not going to work for me. I wish you the best. That's what's going to happen a lot of the time. Some people you may be able to turn to associates because maybe there's a benefit of them in your life. Maybe you guys had a business partnership and you did great business together. So you know what? I don't want to lose the business portion, but the friendship portion, the relationship portion, nah, we can't do that. So we're going to strictly keep it to business. I'm not calling you after 7 o'clock or after 6 o'clock whenever business hours is over. We're not going to be texting back and forth about our days. If it's not about business, that's strictly just what it's not about. If it's someone who maybe you were friends with, and then you decided, you know what, let's see what this relationship thing may look like. Let's see how that may go. And you just see the relationship aspect is not good, but the friendship was great, especially if you catch it early. Okay, you know, we're just going to go back to being friends. We're just going to go back to the platonic part of our relationship because you guys have seen that the romance doesn't work, right? So, and there's so many other variety of ways, of course, that you can decide the end result for that connection. But it is extremely important that when you see that someone is not treating you well, when you are utilizing your discernment and it shows you that you feel that this person is not going to be a beneficial part of your life, it is important that you do not create or keep them in an important place or in a place that they do not deserve. Right? And you do not want to take a long time to recognize this. You do not want to take a long time to get to this place, because what happens is when you take a long time to get to a place of, I don't want to do this anymore. This person doesn't treat me the way I want to be treated. This person doesn't respect the connection. You know, whatever the thing is that is just a deal breaker for you. When you take too long to get there, it becomes harder to create that separation, that necessary, space, because you're more emotionally invested, more mentally invested. There's more of a connection. So once you initially start seeing these things, don't give it a whole bunch of time, because trust me, people are going to show you who they are very soon in a connection. Now, some people can hide it better than others, but they're going to show you as long as you are paying attention. And while I don't suggest you look for the negative in people, because that's never going to turn out good, you want to look for the people in people. You want to look for who they are in themselves. You want to see who that person is, okay? Live in the moment, but don't take but make sure you're taking the blinders off, okay? Now, guys, definitely going to be a short podcast because I actually start feeling the drizzle coming down. And honestly, that was really the bulk of the conversation. Now, definitely, I have written a book that goes over this in detail. And if you are interested, it's going to be in the description below if you are on YouTube. And I will go ahead. I think it's also in the description on my podcast. If not, I'm going to double check on the podcast to see if I have put it in there, but if it's not, I will go ahead and throw it in there. But also my website is www.nicoleaustin.org. So if you want to go there, that's where you can actually purchase a copy of my book. And again, it's a self-help, self-awareness book that is about building and developing and helping you get to the next level. And like I said, a lot of it, I even use some of my own personal stories, but a lot of it is designed to help you make better decisions with the people you allow in your life, because that does have a grand impact on us, right? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. Definitely still trying to build this channel. I'm also going to start doing another channel on YouTube, which is going to be more so, it's very different spin. YouTube, I want to do things I enjoy with YouTube. You know what I mean? I feel like and life coaching is something I absolutely enjoy. And that's why I stayed in that scope of things. But something else I enjoy is eating out. So I figured I would just start a YouTube on eating out, in different restaurants I go to in the Atlanta area or wherever I travel to, and, and try. And I'm going to start doing a YouTube channel on that. And once that's up, I actually recorded the first restaurant today. And once that's up, I'll definitely let you guys know if that's something you're interested in. But other than that, guys, I definitely want to thank you so much for watching. If you are not subscribed, if you are not following, please go ahead and follow. Please also follow my social medias. I always put it on my YouTube videos, but I forget to talk about it on here. On TikTok and Instagram, it's NicoleM.Austin. For both platforms, and you can connect with me there on a more day-to-day basis, especially on TikTok. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Stay blessed and be safe.